Alright my ninjas, back at it again with another video, and Boruto continues to heat up. There's some cool things that I think happen in this chapter. A bit of a redemption for Shikamaru, which I've been waiting for, because since the Code arc, they've kind of made him look a little dumb. And some interesting things between Boruto and Mitsuki that are heating up. But before we get into it, make sure you guys like and subscribe. As I said, I'm trying to hit 500 by the end of the month. I don't think I'm going to do it anymore, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe y'all might surprise me. But I do still have a couple more videos coming this week. As I said, I just got kind of bogged down with a bunch of things. So I wasn't able to push out as much as I wanted to this month, but stay tuned because I still have all those planned for the next coming weeks, and I think you guys will enjoy some of the videos I have planned. But anyway, let's get into the chapter review, which I'm a little late on, so I'm sorry about that. But anyway, let's get into it. So we open up the chapter with Shikamaru talking to the Konoha Council, which, oh, damn! My god, have they gotten old. And how much time has actually passed in Boruto? Because sometimes in the anime, they say it's like 10 years, but Boruto is at least like 16 to 15 years old. So these guys must be pushing like 90 to 100 years old. But anyway, those old, decrepit whatevers aside, they're discussing the issue of Boruto. Since his return to the village, it's a little bit conflicting, because Shikamaru is understanding that Boruto did assist them in a way, but the elders know that by helping Boruto, especially after apparently he tried to assassinate Kawaki, and they're reluctant to help someone like Boruto because they're already running over budget, and I'm assuming helping someone that is deemed a terrorist would probably not look good for their feudal lords who are already kind of fed up with them. But Shikamaru agrees that he will deal with the matter, and as he's leaving, we kind of get an interesting bit of information to come to find out he's technically not exactly the 8th Hokage. I believe he's just a sit-in Hokage, like Danzo was after the Pain arc for Tsunade. And I don't know if it's out of respect for Naruto or what, but he doesn't seem to want to take up the mantle. And the elders mention that it doesn't look good on them, not only for the feudal lords, but also for other villages, seeing that they don't really have a technical Hokage. Anyway, Shikamaru doesn't seem like he wants to do it, so let's see if maybe Kakashi will finally come to the manga, which I think I've been waiting for quite a while. Anyway, we then cut to Shikamaru in his office, and he begins to meet with Ino, and she brings him just like some standard paperwork. But this is all a guise so that they can have their actual secret conversation telepathically. Because he can't afford for this conversation to be detected by the detection squad. And he knows that Ino's the only person he can trust, but this is some really dire information that she needs to know. And if she can't handle it, then they probably shouldn't have that conversation. But he's looking out instead of his own best interest, but for the interest of Konoha. But before we get a resolution to that, we kind of cut back to Kawaki and Eida as they're kind of discussing all the stuff that's happened with the new claw marks and their awakened forms, and Kawaki's getting caught up to speed with everything that's happening because he kind of was in the dark. He was just only focused on attacking Boruto the last couple chapters. He didn't actually know what was going on. And he's coming to find out that not only is Code gone missing again for the most part, but those claw mark creatures or the evolved chakra trees, which I still love saying that, are coming after both him and Boruto as well as the 7th for some reason. And before she can kind of get to it that they're also coming after her, Kawaki just seems to disregard whatever she's saying because he has a full-on hard-on for the 7th Hokage, Naruto. And it's kind of crazy how Eida is still somehow full-on head over heels for Kawaki, even though he's barely giving her the time of day. And it kind of gives me Sakura vibes where she loved Sasuke and somehow they ended up together, despite the fact that this man paid her no attention throughout the whole series of Naruto and actually tried to kill her a couple times. So who knows, maybe you might see a similarity with Eida and Kawaki. Anyway, Kawaki doesn't seem super nervous that they're coming after Naruto because he's hidden him in a whole other dimension along with Hinata. But Damon brings up a good point because he mentions that if those monsters come looking for Naruto, then they'll eventually or potentially unwrap Kawaki's whole secret that he's hiding him in another dimension, and then everyone will start to question the whole legitimacy of Boruto. Now, Damon doesn't really care what happens to Kawaki, but he's like, hey, isn't that a concern you should probably have? And Kawaki, who, I'm not gonna lie, outside of Code, he's probably my second least favorite just because he just seems like a really, really like cheap Sasuke knockoff, but he's not as compelling as a character as Sasuke is. But he's just as nonchalant as always because, you know, that's how the antithesis to the protagonist of Naruto always is. But anyway, he leaves a meeting with Damon and Eida to then be greeted by Mitsuki, who's been outside watching or listening to them the whole time. Now, I'm not sure if he's been listening to them the whole time, if he heard the stuff that they literally just said about Naruto, but he mentions that he keeps an eye on them because of the 8th Hokage, which is Shikamaru's request, and if he has a complaint, then just take it up with him. So we come back to the rooftop meeting between Sarada, Boruto, and Sumeri. I don't know how to pronounce her name properly, but forgive me. And Sarada's a little embarrassed that she ran and hugged Boruto because she let her emotions get the best of him. But it's very obvious that she loves him because, Eida's ability didn't work on her. But we're still not sure if her ability didn't work because of her potential Mangekyo Sharingan abilities, or if because her love for a Otsutsuki stopped that. But anyway, they all exchanged their greetings, and even Boruto acknowledges that it was a little weird that Sarada just jumped on him like that. But it's kind of quickly dismissed because he mentions that he's hiding his chakra signature from Kawaki, so he doesn't have a lot of time because eventually he'll pick up on the fact that he's in the village. So with the time he does have, he wants to tell them about the Ten Tails monsters as well as what happened to Sasuke, which apparently, I guess they've all been living in the dark about any updates with Sasuke and Boruto. I thought maybe they were in contact, but I guess that they really haven't seen him in 3 years, which would explain Sarada's big reaction to seeing him. But he kind of tells them that Sasuke was turned into a tree, but then the scene is again shortly interrupted by Kawaki, who has felt Boruto's presence and I guess is about to go on the attack. But we quickly see before the scene cuts away that a snake is slipping out of Mitsuki's arm. But we do shortly return back to that conversation again, and Boruto informs them that Sasuke sacrificed himself trying to save Boruto, and that's how he was turned into a divine tree. And Sumeri tells him that those tree things that came to the village earlier had attacked many people, so will that mean that they're all going to become trees? And Boruto kind of gives him more information about the chakra trees, saying that their existence of 10 tails is just to eat chakra, which is their instinct, but when they finally eat an Otsutsuki, and their chakra will become a divine tree, or at least that's how it was in the past. Which, the way they emphasize in the past, it makes me wonder if that whole Boruto potentially time travel theory could be real. I know in the anime they time travel, but I didn't watch it, I saw clips of it. And I know the anime is like semi-canon, it's like canon adjacent, so maybe it could be true. But he informs them that they're actually turning into Shinju. But before we get more information on that, we cut to Mitsuki and Shikamaru, because Mitsuki has found Boruto's location and he's getting ready to move in. Shikamaru is a bit surprised that Boruto's able to pass the detection squad, but he wonders if Mitsuki is going to bring Kawaki to the battle with him. But Mitsuki says no, and we find out that Kawaki's been slain by one of the most powerful attacks, I think, in all of anime, which is getting caught off guard. Tell me that is not the most broken ability in anime. We've seen significantly powerful characters get killed or get injured severely by just being hit off guard. It is so dumb. And to stir the pot a little bit, now that we see that someone at Kawaki's level can be defeated by a snake bite, that means snakes now scale above Otsutsuki. Fight about that in the comments. Anyway, we then return again back to that conversation on the rooftop, as Boruto kind of breaks down why they could potentially be turning into Shinju, because Code does have a karma marking, and it is from an Otsutsuki. So mixing that chakra with the Ten Tails could have potentially led to sort of like an in-between version of a Ten Tails mixed with an Otsutsuki, but they still need to consume an entire Otsutsuki to be back to full power. But anyway, this conversation is interrupted again by Boruto getting a message from inside of his head. And he's confused because he's like, wait a minute, is this Shikamaru? And Shikamaru is more in the mood of talking rather than threatening him, which is odd. But he confirms that the conversation is not being detected, and Boruto is wondering why all the secrecy. And Shikamaru actually informs him that someone is coming to attack him, and we already know who that person is. And just as he's saying that, Boruto gets attacked by a snake, and just before it goes in for the bite, which we already saw can take out Kawaki, he uses Flying Raijin to escape. And Boruto and Mitsuki are now face to face after many of years. And Sarada does try to stop him by explaining it, but Mitsuki is locked in right now. His only intention is killing Boruto because he believes he killed the 7th Hokage, and he thinks Boruto and Kawaki swap, so his love for Boruto that he originally had is now for Kawaki, and we saw that they were a little too close. But anyway, Mitsuki goes in for its attack, and he's gone into his full Sage mode, so he's not holding back. Boruto uses his purple lightning release, which is gonna probably add to the controversy that he doesn't have any jutsus of his own. He's just copying other people's jutsus. But like, he was taught by Sasuke. Sasuke knows that jutsu. He's taught, Sasuke confirmed Boruto knows all his abilities. So hopefully this doesn't piss a lot of people off, but I could already smell it's going to. Kawaki launches his Sage Snakes. I can't say that properly. Sage Snakes ability at him. And Boruto counters by slashing all the heads off it. So he hits him again with the Hidden Shadow Snake Hands. and Boruto has to take flight, which now confirms that he has the ability to fly, because I know I mentioned in my Boruto versus Naruto video that we're not really sure what Otsutsuki powers he has, but it seems that even while he still hasn't used his karma marking, he's still developing those abilities. But Boruto seemingly not wanting to smoke, because don't forget, Mitsuki's still his friend, he doesn't want to actually hurt him, is like, hey, I'm gonna piece up out of this, I'm promising I'm gonna save Sasuke, and I'll come back again, as he begins to fly away. Now, he's wondering why Shikamaru is helping him, despite that he also sent Mitsuki after him. And he confirms that, yo, I have to keep up appearances, I can't let anybody know that he's helping him. And he doubles down by confirming that he knows that Boruto's identity is actually Boruto Uzumaki, which I guess the omnipotence is so powerful that even him saying that kind of felt wrong in his mind. It felt like he's saying something that he shouldn't be saying. But after listening to Amato's conversation and seeing his deductive reasoning on how that nothing in his memory kind of makes sense, he's also put together that, yeah, this doesn't add up, nothing makes sense, it's best to just go with his gut rather than going what his mind is telling him, because they do live in a world where genjutsus are a thing. I don't know why this is so shocking to a lot of people. But even Ino is kind of surprised at this revelation, because I don't think she knew that this was what she was helping Shikamaru with. But Boruto has finally gotten some time to talk about this conversation, so he's wondering what he has to offer. Now, he has to stay within 100 kilometers of the village so that Ino can continue having this conversation. But Boruto has a bit of a hiccup, because it appears that he's been tracked by a snake. But dude, you just pulled off this tactic in the last, 2 chapters ago. How did you also get fooled by this? But Mitsuki's followed his location, and he's coming in for the attack, as Boruto's coming to the realization that he's going to have to be a little rough in order to deal with Mitsuki. So that brings an end to the chapter. And honestly, this chapter was just okay for me. I'm gonna give this maybe like a 5 out of 10. It's not that it's really bad, and I do like that they're finally bringing Shikamaru back into the fold of being smart. I do hate that it needed him to listen to Amato to tell him, because it feels like Shikamaru's always been one step behind Amato this entire time, and Shikamaru's supposed to have this really high IQ. But at least it seems like he's following up on the path of being the smartest in the village again. Now, my main issue with this chapter is this, again, it's 40 pages and only 6 or 7 of them have actual new information that we haven't learned before. A lot of it was just reiterating information to characters that we already know, they're just getting the information for the first time again. So it's a little repetitive, especially the last chapter was strictly a dialogue chapter, and I like that chapter a lot better because we got a lot of new information, a lot of new villain motives. But hearing everyone say this stuff, I'm like, this could have happened off panel. And I do think that Boruto needs to utilize its panels a lot more, because these are once a month chapters. I'm not trying to only advance the story a little bit each time, which was my main complaint with Boruto to begin with. And again, with the whole power scaling thing, I know I said it as a joke in the video, but it is a little weird that Kawaki was easily taken out by a snake by Mitsuki. Maybe he's only taken out by a few minutes, but for characters of the strength they are, which again, they're almost damn near planetary levels of strength, it's kind of weird that they're taken out by such trivial things still. But Mitsuki is on a different caliber than a lot of other characters. He's still pretty strong, and we haven't really gotten to tap into his powers, at least in the manga. That's the issue. It's we haven't really gotten to know a lot of manga material, and it seems like they're kind of running that weird canon anime adjacent. Yeah, you should know enough about the anime to know that Mitsuki's super powerful, mixed with what you see in the manga, which I'm strictly a manga reader, so this kind of gets lost in translation for me. But I am still looking forward to Boruto versus Mitsuki. I think that'll be an interesting battle, and I kind of want to see them do a little bit different with their fights finally, because this is the first time they're going to have a fight. So hopefully Mitsuki and Boruto can have a good showing of their battle and actually show some of the new abilities and techniques that they've utilized over the years. Especially Boruto, because we've known that he's gotten a lot of Sasuke's arsenal, but I don't know necessarily what he's learned from Kashin Koji yet, which Kashin Koji is a known unknown variable of the story. And this could potentially be a spiritual battle between Orochimaru versus Jiraiya in a sense, by both of their pupils being thrusted against each other. But this is kind of a low point for me. They do set up some interesting things in the chapter, again with Shikamaru and again with Mitsuki and Boruto. But I'm still curious to see where they're going to go with this. I'm still reluctantly liking Boruto. I like the first few chapters a lot, but I'm still a little bit skeptical that they will pull some of the stuff they did in the previous chapters before Two Blue Vortex. But that's yet to be seen. But I do kind of hope that they utilize Sarada a little bit more, because I don't want her to just be like some love strict fool the whole time. I want her to actually fight and participate in a lot of battles, because most of the time she was just kind of sitting there starstruck. And I think she only has like one cool panel where she's attacking in the manga. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she only does like Chidori like one time, and after that she doesn't really help out much in fights. But 2 blue vortexes, they're time to redeem that. Anyway, that's all I got to say for this video. Thank you again, especially if you watch to the end. I do get a video coming out about Konohamaru. I'm going to try to get it out this week, but if not, look for it next week. I just want to talk about Konohamaru and if he actually is living up to the potential that he could have had, or was all his potential in our head to begin with. But stick tuned for that one. Also, I just recently made a Twitter, or X. I don't like saying that, but I made an X, so you guys could go follow me on there. It's same as my YouTube name, @NoTailNinja. But anyway, that's all I have to say for now. Stay safe, my ninjas, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.